Hey everyone, Zach from Apps Delivered, and I'm excited to present another weekly hierarchy showcase. This week, we are going to be going over a sprint planning agenda process in Jira that we can create using hierarchies with our app, Smart Issue Templates for Jira Cloud. So you're going to be able to access this hierarchy in our set pre-installed hierarchy section over here, soon to be called the hierarchies gallery. All you do is click set pre-installed, drop it down, and you'll be able to find it here very quickly. You can also import this hierarchy. So if you go into the documentation, you'll find a file, download that, and then you can import it here, map the fields, and access the hierarchy in this screen that way as well. So for those of you who do not know what hierarchies are in Smart Issue Templates for Jira Cloud, hierarchies are basically a set of related issues, whether it be epics, stories, tasks, or subtasks that form a standardized process. Now, with hierarchies and Smart Issue Templates for Jira, you're going to be able to auto create a bunch of issues across a bunch of different projects with just one click. So essentially, you're templatizing these very complex processes in Jira. So like I said, today we're going to be going over the sprint planning agenda process that I've created. It is a hierarchy, so let's get right into it. So now I'm inside our sprint planning agenda hierarchy. As you can see, we have a task with quite a bit of subtasks here. I'm just going to click edit, and we're going to look at a little bit more of the users involved with this planning agenda process. Okay, so we are now inside our edit hierarchy screen for our sprint planning agenda hierarchy. As you can see, we have about 5 users that are going to actually interact with this process. We have a product owner, a dev team lead, a Scrum Master, a project coordinator, and a DevOps engineer. You can drop these down, change these users very easily. Variables in Smart Issue Templates for Jira basically allow you to pre-populate fields in issues every time they are created with a hierarchy. And I'll show you that when we kind of go look down at the issues. So that's everybody who's actually interacting with it. And those are the variables. So when I go down here, we have our different issues. So we have one subtask, sprint planning process. We called it that, sprint planning agenda, kind of the same thing. And you see there's a bunch of different subtasks here. Okay, if I actually click into one of these, we have sprint planning process, $ today. So it's going to be today's date will be as the summary. So sprint planning process, today's date. Also description, we left that blank for you. So if you want to add a description of actual steps that should go into that sprint planning process, but that's mostly going to be down here in these issues is going to cover that for you. If I click back into here, you'll see that we have an assignee field. If I wanted to make that, well, this would probably be the project coordinator. We'll have them be the assignee for this. Just click update. I go here and we have that assignee as the project coordinator, which is Who's'em here. So I'm not going to go through every one of these issues. Just know these are the steps that need to be taken every time we need to plan a sprint. So it's going to be very helpful if you're working in the Agile methodology. So really encourage you to download it and try it out if you have Smart Issue Templates for Jira Cloud. If you don't have Smart Issue Templates for Jira Cloud, once again, just certainly go try it out on the Atlassian Marketplace, free 30-day free trial. Let us know what you think. Leave us some feedback through the support. So I won't go through all of these issues, but I will say if I wanted to, I could try to generate this process with AI. I would just click generate nodes with AI, type generate me a sprint planning process, a sprint agenda process. I would just type that and it would do its best to generate all of these issues, or the issues and subtasks you see here. And I could also add a node, right, and add some child nodes as well if I kind of wanted to do this manually and I wanted to add to that. Obviously, we have our update hierarchy, and you can also add a node from a template. So templates and Smart Issue Templates for Jira Cloud, obviously that's a really big feature that a lot of users love. Basically, instead of templatizing a whole entire process, you're going to templatize one single issue in Jira. So you can pull directly from your library of templates that you already have and use them in this hierarchies feature that I'm showing you. We can also tag this. So if I want to say management, boom, we can tag it as that, and we can do multiple tags, give it a description so we can identify it, so on and so forth. So that's, I think, all I want to show you in the edit hierarchy screen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to apply this hierarchy. show you how we can track the status of these different issues that are created every time we apply it. Then I'm going to set some enterprise level permissions, and I think that'll be good, and we will close out. So I'll be right back. So now we are back in the traditional hierarchy screen. I'm actually going to apply this hierarchy. So at this point in the process, we have our sprint planning agenda hierarchy, and we're ready to apply it because we're ready to actually plan a sprint. It's dreaded for some people. Some people, it gets them very excited. So all I have to do is click apply. As you can see, we have some of our user variables here that we looked at previously. As you can see, I've doubled up on the Scrum Master and DevOps Engineer just to kind of show you that you could do multiple of the same persona as well if people in your organization have multiple different roles. So I'm going to click confirm, and we're actually going to apply this hierarchy, which means we're going to create all of these issues that we looked at previously, and we're going to assign them to our different user variables here. All right, so as we can see, issues are being generated. They have all been generated successfully and assigned to all of our users. So I'm going to click close, and then I'm going to click refresh. Refreshed, I will go into view applied history. You can see a 1 has appeared. All right, and this is how we're actually going to track these hierarchies that we create. Now, the one we've done today is only being applied to one project, which is our development project. Now, if you were creating issues across multiple different projects, which you can do with hierarchies and smart issue templates for Jira, this would be very much more helpful as well. Because as you can see here, we have a couple different columns. So these are all the issues that were just created: last activity, when it was created, progress, status, issue key. So as I start moving these issues through our board, across our board, these progress bars are going to fill out, and you're also going to see that status reflected here. So if we're trying to track all of these issues, this is where you're going to want to go after you've applied the hierarchy to see the status of all these different issues that we've created in this process. I think that's what I want to show in terms of the columns. If I wanted to open up the issue, I would just click the issue key button here. Also, I can click duplicate this hierarchy, add a scheduler. So sprint planning, if you do weekly sprints, you could schedule this to be weekly. I would just click weekly, fill out some of these here, choose my time zone, give it a name, and then I would create a scheduler. So this hierarchy would be applied on a weekly basis. I could also share this hierarchy via a link to other people who have smart issue templates for Jira Cloud. And then I can also export it, download the file. Then you'll be able to import that file into another cloud instance and use the hierarchy, share it that way. And I can add it into a folder for a little bit more organization as well. So I think that's all I want to show in the applied history screen. Now I'm going to set some enterprise level permissions on this hierarchy, and then I will close out. So I'll be right back. All right, so we are back in our manage hierarchy screen here. I'm going to click this button right here on our sprint planning agenda hierarchy, and we can set some permissions. Okay, so we have our different users we can choose from. We will choose Greg here, and we will say that Greg can only view this hierarchy. And I'll set another one here. We will say Farah can edit, apply, and view this hierarchy. Then all I have to do is click save. And it's as easy as that. We have set some permissions on this hierarchy. So what we've done is we've created the hierarchy, we've applied it, we've tracked it, and we've also set some permissions on it. It's a really great way to handle this sprint planning process. It's important to note, though, with the permissions that your global Jira administrator permissions are going to override the permissions that you set in this screen, along with the permissions that you've set in the Smart Issue Templates app, which can be found if you were to open apps, scroll down to manage your apps, and you went to those settings. That's going to override any of the permissions you set over here. So as long as you have a more strict over there or less strict, however you want to do it, you're going to run into no problems with the permissions you set here. So I think that's all I want to go over today. Thanks again for joining me for another weekly hierarchy showcase with Smart Issue Templates for Jira Cloud. Like I said, I encourage you to try the app in the link in the description. You'll get a free 30-day free trial. Leave some feedback. And my name is Zach from Apps Delivered, and I'll see you in the next one.